That's gonna kick on. Yeah, there we go. So I've got this Python script. I'm gonna just run it like this. What is Ignite Karaoke? It's pretty self-explanatory. Literally, I just hit right on the keyboard and it explains itself. We're filling time for Sally and Urvashi. Wonderful. So this is for fun. So if anybody says anything insulting, please take it with a grain of salt and don't be upset. It can go not safe for work. I haven't looked at all the images in here, so I'm going to be just as surprised as everybody else. 15 seconds each slide, a title slide to start off the talk, and then you have 3 slides that are automatically going to advance over 45 seconds, okay? So our 3 victims, volunteers, are JJ, Mary, and Jane. We're going to start off with Mary, and it should go automatically. And Mary, I'm going to pretend to be Mary. Hello, everyone. I'm Mary. Hi, Mary. Thank you. All right, there we go. We're recording the session right now, Sally. Are you saying that we shouldn't? Are we streaming it? Is it live? Sweet. Okay. So I missed the title slide, but this guy is living in a bubble, right? And that is clearly something that we love to see in big cities, right? Big city bubbles, and he's having these wonderful, dramatic thoughts about fruit and what he's going to do with fruit. He wants to be a fruit. He can absolutely be a fruit if he wants to be a fruit. I fully support that. If I knew what the title was, that might help. Oh, and this is creepy as hell. Wow, okay. Yeah, so a guy with his head in a bubble in a city wants to be a fruit, but now we've got Peeping Tom, like, dangerous style. Yeah, creepy as hell. Man, I should be cussing more. All right, and that's slideshow karaoke, right? You don't know what you're gonna get. It pretty much runs itself. It's very quick and fast. So we could easily get everybody in here in on this, or we can go another route. I have a presentation that I gave last year. That's not the one that I want. I want the beautiful AI stuff. So yesterday we did a containers, birds of a feather gathering, and a bunch of us sat down in a room and came up with some things that we were talking about in containers and Red Hat and DevConf. And I took the meetings from that and put it into Beautiful AI, which is a tool that generates slides for you. It's an AI tool. And it summarized and created slides from the Birds of a Feather talk. And I was thinking I could present this like it was actually a set of slides, and I could just run through it. Or I could also pick a victim to give my talk from DevConf last year, which was delegation is a love language, right? So we've got a lot of different directions we can go in. Tons of extra room. And the easiest thing for us to do is actually run through a quick round of slideshow karaoke with volunteers, and I'll ask for volunteers in just a second. And then after we get through that, we'll pick a winner and give them a signed copy of Dan's book, because we have tons of those just laying around, right? No? Okay, so we can't give that away. But we can give them a signed PDF. Isn't that great? So we could make that our first thing, and then after that I could just throw the Switch 2 up here and we can play Mario Kart the rest of the time. Or we can go any way we want. So let me get a show of hands. Do we have anybody that really wants to go through the slideshow karaoke? I promise to be a volunteer as well. Anybody else want to? I mean, anybody can do it. Clearly, if Jeff can do it, anybody can do it. But does anybody want to do it? If we don't have any interest in it, then... Yeah. This is the problem with staying at a job for this long now. You should have been job hopping. So, I mean, I can also just pick people and victim them. Okay. We got two? All right. Cool. Okay. Sweet. Jeff, Dan. Yes, that is why you have to do this. Ashley? Yeah. 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 Ignite karaoke. Okay, look. This is going to create a list. We can go in whatever order we want. So just because you're last in the list doesn't make you absolutely last. If you want, I will go last. Okay. Matt, you're in? Matt's in. Okay, you really got to pay attention to that title slide. I demonstrated very clearly. If you miss the title slide, you're just screwed. All right, so that's a good, healthy mix. I think there's 45 slides in here, so we should get a nice mix up. Walk through this again. Can I just full screen this? No. The green button on the left. Keyboard combination? I believe you. Yep, it's F. Sweet. All right. Ignite Karaoke is a chance to entertain, nerd out, and buy time for Sally and Urvashi. What are the rules? This is for fun. Don't be mean to the person who's up here. Don't be mean to the people who are sitting and watching. We're all friends here. The victim volunteer has 1 minute, 15 seconds each slide, and a title slide to start it off. So yeah, this should go really fast. So our victims. Dan really wants Nolan to go, so I'm going to volunteer him to go first. So come up here, click on your name.
Okay.
I have decided you are going first. Don't listen to that old guy.
You said Dan wants Nolan to do this, so I want him to go first.
It's some noun antecedent
AI would be
drama.
thoroughly confused whether that was correct.
Pronoun noun. Yep. Grammar.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay, here goes. Am I doing this right? Okay. Do I press something or is it counting down?
It's counting down.
Oh. Fantastic. 15 seconds for the first slide, huh? The title. What's it about? What's it going to be? Why is there a 15-second countdown at the beginning of this? Oh, okay. Okay, because right now it's just making me sweat. Yeah. Excellent.
It's been 15 seconds. You may have to click something. You shouldn't.
Fungibly embrace extensible niche markets. Ah, yes. Now, most people aren't going to expect this, but fungus is it going to auto-advance? Okay.
It did earlier.
No, I pressed the key.
Well, it did when I did.
Okay.
I missed this.
So the goal of this slide is to introduce you to the concept of fungibly embracing extensible niche markets. In particular, we're going to explore the ability to sell people mushrooms because, as you know, there's a ballot question in Massachusetts to make psilocybin legal for recreational use. I don't think it's advancing.
Maybe it doesn't do it in full screen.
Do I have to press this? Okay. For example, this guy, he could really use a calming down. He's clearly talking on the phone. He's having a problem with his directory listing. If maybe it doesn't have all the files he needs, maybe he lost all of his data. He could really stand to have an out-of-body experience or whatever I've been told happens to you when you take psychedelics, because obviously I've never indulged. Can someone time this? Okay. Hang on a minute. When you take this trip, will you You may find yourself as the banana. You may find yourself as the, I want to say strawberry? Strawberry? Yes. Will you become a banana man or a strawberry child? You never really know because we never really know what happens when people take drugs. Nobody knows, no one's ever known. Okay. And of course, you may devolve into another kind of creature entirely, a pirate rodent of some kind. Pirate mouse, yes, because mouses sail the high seas and commit acts of piracy and other assorted, adorable-ish things.
Hey! Let me just come fix this thing, because that's going to drive me crazy.
Yeah, what did I do wrong here?
No, it's not you. This thing is not doing it right. It did before. Back to the main deck.
Leave the menu bar up there and it'll be fine. Spoil mine.
Hold on.
I'm going to have a seat.
That's not it. All right, who's going next?
I guess I am.
Okay. All right. It should just work.
Are you ready, Dan? Starting in 15 seconds. My brain doesn't work correctly for this type of thing. Progressive formulate interoperable best practices. Progressively formulate interoperability best practices. That's a lot of nonsense. So, best practices is obviously not to use light bulbs with, basically that aren't, you have to bring them to Lowe's to drop them off, and so therefore they're really not wide. Every single slide deck has the guy in the banana suit, and obviously he's being progressive, but I've already forgotten what the topics were at the beginning, but he was marching off, and then someone took him as a banana and put him on a cookout grill and just started to fry up banana. And fried bananas is actually a rather tasty subject. Is that what that is? What the heck was the banana on?
I have that.
I should have brought the banana or yacht that was taped to the wall.
All right. So good job, Dan. Thank you so much. All right. It did advance a little bit better. And, it's entirely possible we're going to get that same fruit for the second slide for everybody, just to see, by comparison, who can do what. Ashley, get on up here. You don't want to go last? You're next.
Hello, my name is Ashley, and I am going to be giving a presentation today. It will be as much of a surprise to me as to you. And yeah, here we go. I hope soon. So we need to completely grow frictionless synergy. Sometimes you have synergy with people, you talk to people, you're like, we're on the same wavelength, but all of a sudden you realize, something isn't right here. There is some tension, there is some friction. So one time I was walking down the street and I saw this man in a complete tinfoil costume, and I was like, he looks like he is on my wavelength. We have synergy. But then I realized, there's a little bit of friction here. You know how tinfoil sticks to food sometimes? That's the friction that I'm having. So, so I was like, I'm gonna dress up in a vegetable costume because I feel like vegetables roast really well in tinfoil, and so now there's a certain synergy. We should sell vegetables wrapped in tinfoil. This is my conclusion. I'm starting a new company. Please invest. I will be taking names down if anybody could give $5 to my new company.
All right. Way to commit. Like what you did there. Okay. Let's see. Sally. It's time. So is everyone. Did you see what Dan did? He just stumbled through everything. Get up here, Sally.
You can do it.
I believe in you.
I seem like an extrovert, okay? But I'm really not.
I'm not either.
You can even talk all night. You can completely ignore the slides. That's
What do? I click on myself?
Click on your name.
All right, here we go. My heart is beating fast. I know. I might just stand here and just stare for 15 seconds. Seriously. Last time I did this, there was phosphorescent lie pursue. What the heck? Integrated outsourcing. So we're gonna introduce a new word called lie pursue. Is it pursue? Does anybody know what that is? Lie pursue. It means that so the guy won first place because he was the one that came up with the idea for we must pursue, and his brother just found out that he stole his idea that he had back in 6th grade and can't believe it. My brain is so random. And oh my God, did you hear the story about the Intel office where infiltrated by an alligator and it killed the secretary of the CEO?
Nice job, Sally. Way to participate.
I tried.
Absolutely. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Okay. Matt, you want to go? All right.
All right, let's let it rock and roll. This is a long 15 seconds. All right, we're talking about compellingly simplifying Premiere virtualization. Now, you may think of virtualization as something that happens on computers. That's not strictly always the case. We can virtualize things in our mind, and that's the best way to simplify them if they don't exist anywhere except in our heads. Like, look at this cat, look at that computer, look at how angry that cat is at the computer. What if the computer didn't exist? What if we could simplify things to the point where we don't even need them? This woman right here has not grasped the concept. She is driving with some sort of virtual reality headset. Her computer exists. What if it didn't? What if the computer just didn't exist? Look at this person. He has a computer. What if he didn't? I'm just telling you, people, the best way to simplify is to remove things from your life that you don't need, like this computer.
It took me a second, but I realized I am forgetting Laura, and that's what she was directly telling me. And I want to go last.
You want to go last?
Yes.
All right.
I went first, and I'll go last.
Okay. I'm the lucky one because I've actually used this with JJ, which means I get to heckle JJ while he's not here.
So that's going to be the fun part, is heckling JJ while I'm not here. I am absolutely ready. Just so that you all know, JJ can't spell, which is part of the fun of this deck. So when you see stuff like that, he sometimes doesn't even know what's going on, and he just kind of puts it in there. So in these next minute, I'm going to talk about completely harnessing sustainable outsourcing. And I'm going to talk to you about doing it with Jenkins. How many people here love Jenkins? How many people here hate Jenkins? How many people here have a love-hate relationship with Jenkins? Guess what? You can sustainably outsource everything to Jenkins. This guy has his mind blown by that idea. Because you can go and tell Jenkins, hey, I want you to do this fancy thing. I don't even want to do my slide deck anymore. Let me send it off to Jenkins. Jenkins will be able to do that. We'll just add some AI juice, some sprinkles, and then we just pull out our telescopes and suddenly, magically, it just works. It'll be really, really cool, I promise. So this is an example, though, of actually using Jenkins to make slides. Except we don't call it Jenkins. We just call it Reveal.js, but trust me, it's actually Jenkins under the hood. That's why the computers start melting when you try to use Jenkins. Everything just kind of falls apart because you try to type, but Jenkins knows exactly what you're doing, so you're trying to type faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, and suddenly you just make it burst into flames. Where's the mouse? Where's the mouse? I can't find your mouse.
It just disappears.
I
There
blame
it is.
JJ.
I blame JJ too. I have no idea who JJ is, but Laura apparently does. Okay. I too like having imaginary best friends. Jeff friends. I covered the J, so I'm F Ligon, right? Screw that guy. There's a subreddit called F Jeff, and it is nothing but insulting people with my name. Professionally negotiate cloud-centric schemas. That is what we're going to do. Strategize. Because one thing that we all need to do is make sure that we are cloud-centric, not native-centric. We need to be around the cloud. And you have all these sales guys that are just calling up people and don't really know what they're talking about, and they're just covered with like a full calendar and just thinking about the beach vacation they're about to go on. And all of a sudden, you end up with just an empty suit and a chair. Oh God, no, he's just flat. Ew, yuck. So this is what happens when you burn out your sales guys because you're not cloud-centric enough. And I feel really, really bad for him, but man, he's flexible. And now we've got an ostrich poking or pushing a stroller with a young Dan Walsh in it. Must be fun. Yeah, so this is why he was so brilliant. He had all that, yeah. Thank you everyone for playing. If we could have all the victims come up, line up across here. We went through everyone. Okay, for those of us that don't know everybody else's names, which is like most of the people who are still sitting, here are our names. We're going to have a round of applause for people in order, and we're going to pick with the loudest applause who wins the signed PDF of Dan's book. We're going to start with me. Was I the funniest? No. Was Dan the funniest? Was Nolan the funniest? Was Laura the funniest? That's pretty good. She's getting up there. Was Sally the funniest? Was Ashley the funniest? Ashley's pretty funny. Was Matt the funniest? I think we've got ourselves a nice little tie between Matt and Laura and Ashley. So I think we've got 3 PDFs that we can just make digital copies because that's the entire point of computers, right? So everybody gets a PDF signed by Dan Walsh. Yay! How much more time do we have? 8 minutes. There we go. All right.
I want to see the
Okay. All right. Everybody sit down. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we did a containers, birds of a feather. I like to pace a little bit more. Can I get the traveling mic? Mic comes out of a stand. Does it? Yeah, you can do that. Sorry, I made you get up.
That's not a problem.
Head fake. Hold on. I appreciate that. Okay. Containers and Podman, a boring yet stable revolution. All right, so we're going to talk about the state of Podman. Well, that was the first bullet. I wrote these notes for the Containers Birds of a Feather talk that we gave or sat through yesterday. We talked about, well, Dan actually called on Matt to talk about what's coming up in Podman, and Matt started us off with a wonderful quote, "We are boring and stable." And if people don't know, this is something that Red Hat takes a lot of pride in. We make things really boring. And exciting technology, we're going to bore the hell out of it, because if it's boring, then it becomes easy. You can find stuff and everybody just knows how to do it. And we take a lot of pride. We made Linux boring. We made Kubernetes boring. We're making AI boring. That's the entire point. It's literally on the Ramalama tagline, right? So Podman has become very stable and reliable. We're going to release a Podman 6, and it's scheduled for release in 2026. And the plans and the design docs are out on GitHub, right? So hooray us. Podman Machine is going to have some updates. We're going to ease the switching of Hyper-V and WSL because screw Macs, right? Let's just focus on Windows users. The configuration files are going to become more consistent and deterministic in the order that it reads through things. We're going to move to Conmon v3. Conmon is the container monitor that is launched alongside every single container. So Dan loves to say no big fat daemons, but what he really loves is small little thin daemons on every single container. And that daemon is called Conmon, right? Shh, I shouldn't say that out loud. So we've got a Rust implementation that we think is going to be a lot better because everybody loves Rust and it's memory safe, and I actually do like Rust a lot. It's a very good programming language. Ashley is learning it. And we're going to do a logging plugin system where we don't just log to journald, we log to anything you create a plugin for. So you can do all kinds of observability for Kubernetes and other things. All right, this is Dan Walsh. He's a longtime contributor to the container ecosystem. Just an amazing man. And AI found this photo of him and slapped it right in my slides. Artifacts, complex entities in a tarball. So Dan explained exactly what these are, and it's way too technical to get into a boring talk like this. So I'm just going to hand wave 4 little bullets and move right on. Peter Hunt. We love Peter so much. Apparently, he lost all his hair, and it's a shame because that's one of the things we really do love about Peter. That and his business suits that he wears every time he comes into the office, right? We talked a little about Bootsy. 30 years, that was a young man. Come on, Dan. Compared to you? Anyway, container file to define your operating system with Bootsy. We basically went through, here's the entire pitch of Bootsy. Bootsy is a wonderful project that Colin came up with and allows us to treat a container like it was a bootable operating system. Everybody in the containers land know that this is the key to the crunchy immutable host future. Yeah, so the fan is defining how everything's just going to lay out across the disk. You just blow it right through it. You've got the formerly known as Twitter. It's actually an X, so when things go wrong, like at Twitter, it rolls back to the previous boot. You've got this composefs checksum because we're sending something to the cloud, but we're totally not. And then we've got a location sticker because you're not locked to a distro. You can just move to other distros, right? Yeah. And then Andrew Singley, the Andrew Singley that I was sitting next to was definitely blonde, and he had a question about building a container image with 2 separate containers at 2 separate points that reminded me of multi-phase build, but I don't really know what multi-phase build is because I'm a people manager for the next 2 weeks. So containerization guild gathering, we did one of these as well. This was a lot of fun. There is one of the topics that came up was post-quantum cryptography and how it's going to literally break everything in the container ecosystem. And I found this charming young person who was helping out at the conference last year, who I sat down at lunch with again yesterday. Turns out they work on transitioning tools to post-quantum cryptography, and we should really put the 2 of them in a room together, right? So we're going to do that later today. Podman Machine VM. Oh boy, that's just a wall of text. Do I need to read that? Nah, let's just move on. And that's it. So